necessarily reflect those of the advertisers, owners, or management of Pacific Telestations, LLC. For comments, opinions, and questions, please email Jess Lujan at jessthebuzz@gmail.com. The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this edition of The Buzz. Tonight's story, and actually next week's as well, is something you can't miss. It's a must-see, and it's a gut-wrenching story tonight. I have Cynthia Tenorio Terlahi, who will be telling us, of course, her story. It's an unfiltered story. From her own words tonight from the village. Actually, now you live in the village of Asan, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, Cynthia, this is Masi. Thank you very much for being my guest this evening.
Thank you for inviting me.
You know, the past couple of weeks, I spoke to former Senator George Bamba regarding war reparations and the efforts of not only his dad, but his mom and others in regards to war reparations and the recognition of our folks here in Guam. But prior to that, of course, and their efforts, Cecilia Bamba's efforts, George Bamba, actually former Senator George Bamba's father, Senator George Bamba as well. Their efforts were basically your story, and you were in the war, and you have. When I read your story, I said I needed to speak to you personally. I said, "Am I missing something here? Is this correct?" I met with you a couple of weeks ago, and please, for our audience, please tell us your story.
Well, during the war, you know, I was on the march to Manangan. Mm-hmm. I got very sick.
Okay. How old were you?
I was
back then?
9 years old.
9 years old. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is where after the March to Manangan. This is prior to the U.S. liberation, right? I mean, the U.S. forces come in to Guam, right? Okay.
That was before.
But
those are the walk. I mean, the walk. You know.
Okay, but let me go back prior to Manangan. Okay, prior to Manangan, you said you were really sick. What was life like? What was your sickness? What were your sickness due to?
Well, according to my parents, you know, as we were walking, there were hardly any food.
Okay.
So it was malnutrition.
Okay.
They just no water, no food. Mm-hmm. So I was really sick and everything. So when we got to Manangan,
so you were throwing up,
yes,
and probably diarrhea. The conditions,
everything.
Conditions are probably they weren't sanitary at all.
Not at all. Okay. Not at all. So my husband had. Not my husband, but my father had dug, you know, over by the river in Manangan, and that's where we rested and hide from the Japanese. And through that time, you know, I was just lying down inside.
The whole family.
The whole family.
Okay, now how many of you in the family?
There are 4 siblings and my parents.
Okay, so there's 4. There's 6 of you total.
Yeah.
Okay, your 2 parents, mom and dad.
7 altogether.
And 4.
Myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, the reason why we were hiding because the Japanese was looking for my father to be beheaded.
Okay.
On account of him, he works for the Japanese. They call it the Kohatsu.
Okay.
Where he works at, and that's like a commissary for them.
Okay. So your dad was working for them, the Japanese.
Yes.
Okay.
And somebody had, you know, snitched and told the Japanese that it was my father that told the rest of the Chamorro people to, you know, grab whatever it is that they could get,
grab,
the food, you know. And that's when we got to Manangan, we stayed there. But there's still some bombing going on and a lot of things, you know, just, so I don't know too much. I just, you know, being sick, but whatever it is that, you know.
Sure.
And then later on, when somebody was yelling that they have to go, you know, because the Japanese are coming there.
Okay. Now you have to go. You left your home? Or
no, to leave the Manangan area.
Oh, leave Manangan.
Yes.
Leave Manangan. Okay.
He says there's a lot of people already that they're heading down to where the Americans are coming.
Okay.
And it just so happened that when my sister went up to the hill to get to get drink, and then she came down and says, "Here's some, we take this with us." But then my parents, they start walking. And as they were walking down, she turned around and asked, "What about me?" And then my mother turned around and told them that, she make an arrangement for somebody to take care of me. And I said to myself, just that was been going down, on my mind, and then.
Okay, so pardon me if I'm stopping you. I'm trying to understand it, Cynthia. So you were in Maniangan, okay? Your mom went up to get something to drink to bring back to the family, okay? Back the family, as folks were being told to get out of Maniangan. Let's head towards where the Americans were at, and this, my understanding at the time, was the Sumay area, right?
Agate.
Agate area. Okay, so as people were getting ready to depart to go down there, they were running for their lives.
They're
basically?
running for their lives. They were all yelling.
Okay.
And then when they left, I was all by myself, but I'm not doing anything, just staying there until another person came inside.
Okay, but you were sick.
I was sick.
You were
I was
sick.
lying down.
Okay, so you were sick. You had what?
Malnutrition.
Okay, you were throwing up. You had diarrhea. Everything. Dysentery probably. All that. So you weren't in any condition to walk, right?
No, just bedridden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were by the river. You were left by the river.
Right.
Your parents had asked. I mean, how about your other siblings? Did they leave your other siblings behind?
No, they all took off. I'm by myself.
Okay, so your parents, your mom and dad, had said, "Let's go. We need to get out of Maniangan. Okay, we need to head out of here. Okay." You were left behind. You were sick. You weren't dead.
No.
Obviously not.
No.
Okay. Now, when you asked your mom, why am I not being taken with them?
I didn't ask that question until later on.
Okay.
About maybe 35
years later.
35 years later.
So they left you. What did your parents or other siblings say why they were leaving? They were obviously they're trying to get out of danger.
Yeah, they're trying to
go
to safety.
And I can understand that. I can understand that. But you are a child. You were a sibling. They were going to go, and who was going to come back if that place would be in danger of bombardment and all that? I mean, who in their right mind will want to come back to that same place that's
true, but people are just going by, and they didn't know that there was somebody in that hole, the Bokongo.
But your parents did. They knew you
were
there.
They knew, yes. They knew that
and
I was there.
Knew.
Yes. They knew that I was there, but, the other people would keep going, and then one time, the guy was standing over there, and he heard a child crying. And he had his wife outside, the Bokongo, and, with another daughter.
Sure.
And then because I learned this later on, he told her to hold the baby while he goes and investigate what's going on inside the Bokongo.
Yeah, which is the cave.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when he came inside, he saw me and he says, "Do not be afraid, but I'm not going to leave you here. I'm going to take you with me."
Okay.
So that's the time when,
Okay, so your parents and siblings left you there, and I guess 35 years later, you said somebody had told you, I guess either your parents or one of your siblings had told you that someone was supposed to come back to get you. Did they even mention to you that so and so was going to come back to get you?
I don't know. I don't know nothing about it.
Did they even say why they left without you? Did they say
That's the question I've been asking myself. Actually, I was trying to, I wanted to ask my mother, why did you left me there? And she never did. Maybe she's hoping that I will not remember. And maybe she doesn't want to tell me to, But that's the biggest thing that comes to my mind. That maybe until one day I was talking to a priest, and then I said, I have this heavy feeling in my body that has been bothering me, for so long, that I wanted to. What do I do with the situation that I'm in right now? During the war, my parents had left me for dead in the Bokongo. And I want to ask my mother why.
She left you behind.
Why she left me behind. And then maybe, Yeah, and then, you know, how do I do it? How do I cope with it? And then it says, well, there is a miracle, you know, that's happened to you. So, you know, why, you know, but
Basically, forget it. You live through this thing.
Yeah,
So, you know, it is what it is at this point. Basically, that's what he said.
yeah, but that's what all he told me is, that was war. Maybe your parents are not in their right mind, but knowing that you're very sick, that you might not be able to make it, that's why they left you there, you know. So.
A priest told you this.
Yes.
I got to pay some bills. Be right back.